Okay, we're live. We're live. Actually, I don't know if I'm live. The question is if it's being shadow banned. That part I don't know. So I don't know if it's showing up because I can see very few people actually can see this. There are very few people here because partially there's something that happened here, and I want to explain what happened with yesterday, and then we can kind of push off discussing details because we're not going to discuss the details of it. But something happened yesterday during the live stream, after the live stream, and people were looking for the video after the live stream and could not find it. I had a hard time finding you. Yes, yes, and what happened too was when I created a new video here, by default YouTube had set it to private, so then it's not even going to announce it. It's not even going to show up on your suggested or home or subscriptions feed. Nowhere. It's not going to even suggest it. So, yeah. So this is actually partially a test to see if we can recover from this and see if there's any serious damage from this event. And maybe there will be. I don't actually know. So welcome. So we'll just we'll talk about it a little bit, but no details. I'm not going to tell you the details of what I was broadcasting yesterday. However, I will tell you that I don't know why the video was banned by YouTube. The video was banned by YouTube. It was banned for community guidelines. And I don't actually know why it was banned. And I think it was just banned because of a use of a keyword. And I'm not going to tell you what that is. And they have a right to do this. In fact, that was my last video. I said private companies have a right. They can do anything. They can do anything. They can force any rule they want. And so they are. Don't say that, Anthony's truck. Zuck. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Do you want this to be banned too? We don't need to talk about what it is that was discussed yesterday. If you want to know what was discussed, you can go to the Odysee version and you can discuss. The question is, I don't even know why mentioning certain words would cause a problem since I didn't even say anything. I didn't even offer an opinion or a side. I didn't say anything. All I said was related to just analyzing it versus the topic. I didn't even give an opinion of, pro or con, nothing. Don't say that, guys. Don't type what I said. Because the algorithm will check that and then we'll start. The algorithm is very smart. It actually figured it out and said, oh, certain words were mentioned in here. And then it deleted the video immediately after the live stream. So please, if you type that, delete, please. Delete, please. Help me out here. I mean, this is not the platform. This is obviously a platform that has their rules, and you have to follow their rules or you don't get to be on the platform. Okay, so yeah, follow their rules. Not a choice. I have my own platform. You can go to Brax Me. There, we have no rules there. We can talk about anything we want. But here, obviously, they have a rule, and the AI. This was the AI. No human person did this. The AI said, "Oh, certain words were mentioned. Pow, zap it." They zapped the video. No appeal. No appeal. No appeal option. No appeal option. It was just you have violated whatever terms, guidelines, community guidelines, and there's a restriction. Now, I don't actually know. I don't actually know if this resulted in a strike or not. It's not clear to me. There doesn't seem to be any notification of a strike. Maybe because it was a live stream. And thank you, John. Thank you, John. So there was nothing in the live stream. I mean, there's no strike or anything. So let's make sure that there isn't any strike. So please don't say any words here. We're not going to discuss what my topic was yesterday. It's on Odyssey, and you can find out what it is. I honestly don't understand what I said that would trigger a reaction like this. Yes, the topic was timely, but to be honest, politically it was pretty neutral. I was talking in a very, very neutral way. So yes, my video yesterday was banned. Hello, Jay. Hello, Jay, buddy. So yeah, so my video yesterday was banned. So that's why if you were watching the live stream, it allowed me to it buffered when I mentioned certain words. The connection dropped. So you kind of wonder if it's connected. If the AI said, "Oh, we don't like that word. We don't like that words. It's a couple of words. We don't like that two words." And so the connection dropped right exactly. Then I repeated it. And the AI probably said, "Hey, say it once. We'll forgive you. Say it twice. You're zucked." So they zucked me. And so the video's gone, and so no one can watch it here on YouTube. And I said, maybe I actually deleted the first 30 minutes of the video to see if it changes the options, to see if they'll grant an appeal. So that at least you can watch the Q&A section. And no, the video is completely restricted. So nobody can see it. So we're pretty much zucked. So yeah, I was banned. The word isn't canceled in this case. I was banned. So yeah, so don't drop the name, and we'll or the word. And we won't discuss it in this video. And hey, we're on YouTube. Got to support YouTube. They have guidelines, and you got to follow the guidelines. So the guideline says you can't talk about certain words. Now I don't know why I can't talk about certain words when I didn't say anything relating to certain words. But I guess they don't want you to talk about it, even though it's talked about everywhere in the press. So it's just not allowed to be talked about here. So don't know. And it's not the topic title, because the topic title has been known to the AI for one whole day since I published the video, title a long time before. So they knew what the title was. And so the AI did not respond to the title or to the description. They reacted to the live stream. And maybe they're reacting to your comments as well. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's your comments. So, okay. So don't just control your comments here, and be gentle to the AI, because the AI is king. The AI is king. Okay. Didn't I just mention this in my last video about, private enterprise and what they can do and what they're allowed to do? Well, they are allowed to do this. This is the law. They can do this. So we can't say, "Oh, this is bad." This is, by law they can do it. So because they can do it, they will do it. So it's all good. So we'll accept that. We'll accept that. There are rules and regulations here, and on this platform, we follow those rules and regulations. And if I want to say something else, I'll say it on a different platform, not here. So, hopefully that's clear. It's very interesting though how it happened. Right after the live stream ended, I was presented with a screen to edit the video. I didn't understand what I was looking at. It presented me with an option to edit the video. And because I didn't know what it was, I closed the window, and then I found out that maybe that was my chance to remove the first 30 minutes. But I wasn't going to do that anyway without downloading it. So, yeah. It's sad in a way, because it's pretty blatant. My experience last night was, it's blatant. I don't know what to tell you. That was not subtle. That was not subtle at all. Considering that, I've been, fairly balanced politically in what I say, and then that was interpreted by the AI in such a way that there was no appeal option. They didn't give me the option to appeal. So, yep. So, how do we DVR? So anyway, you can watch it on. You can watch the first 30 minutes of the video on Odysee. So, if you want to know, because you can tell me actually. You can maybe leave a comment on Odysee, but you can tell me why you think they did that, because I certainly don't know. I certainly don't know. One of my videos was banned too before for saying, talking about this this thing that we're all wearing masks for. You know what I'm talking about. We're wearing masks for something, right? It has, a C in there, and there's a 1, and there's another number after that. So, yeah. So I mentioned that in the video, and wham! They just they demonetized it, and yeah, this was the worst. This one was immediate, like it was made private, and you can't change it. It was locked. Basically, the video was locked immediately. So, yeah. So I wish I understood why, because I'm trying not to be blatant here what I say, and I say things in a very, very controlled way, and certainly I take a kind of a middle of the road stance with everything, and it's when the algorithm says that I did something wrong and I don't know why, other than mentioning certain words which are common. I mean, you can go to any station or newspaper and they're talking about it, and yet apparently I can't say it here. Crazy. It's crazy, guys. I don't know if you don't think it's crazy, but it's crazy to me. It's like, wow. Yeah. If you watch my video on Odysee, the first 30 minutes or even less, and see what I said, I don't know if you maybe you could tell me what I said that would cause this kind of reaction, because other than the vague context that I used it in, it was just a context. I just used it as an example, actually, and it wasn't even the main point, and that was used as ammunition for this. So it just anyway, it's interesting when you are actually actively in the middle of this. I know that remember, like James Corbett, lost his YouTube channel primarily because he argued about what it means to discuss the science of certain things. Not going to discuss what it is the science of, but James Corbett talked about the science of certain things, and he disagreed with some of the supposed opinions on the science of such a thing. But that was stated clearly in the community guidelines. The community guidelines are very clear. You cannot talk about these topics. So in that case, he did it purposely, and he did it knowing that was stated in the community guidelines. You cannot talk about that topic. In this case, I don't know what it is that I'm not supposed to talk about. So, and why, I don't even know. What if I use this word in or this couple of words in a totally meaningless context, something related to a birthday party, or or I saw him over there, some time ago, or something vague like that. Would that cause the same kind of reaction from the AI? My goodness. I mean, this is pretty blatant AI stuff. So if something happens to this video, and obviously I haven't said anything, if something happens to this video, then I will once again post it on Odysee. So just in case something happens. That's why, please, guys, if you are not following me on Odysee, please go to Odysee and follow me there, because you never know. I mean, they could just hit me here overnight. They could just say, you're being trouble here. We're gonna knock you off immediately. So please go to Odysee. There's a link in the description, and that's just an insurance policy. A good chunk of you are on there. I have 363,000 followers here on YouTube. I have 76,000 followers on subscribers on Odysee. That's what is that? That's a quarter? No, that's more than a quarter. That's, what is that? That's almost 80. So yeah, it's yeah, maybe a quarter. I don't know. Some of you can do the math there, but yeah. So, but it's a good number, and 76,000. The highest one there is in the 120,000 range. That's the highest one on Odysee. So yeah. So just make sure that you subscribe to me there, so that if anything happens, then there's a way to communicate here. So anyway, I mean, I can't say I'm disappointed or anything. I mean, it is what it is. I accept the fact that when you're on a platform, you're at their mercy, basically, and I know that, and they can shut me down anytime they want. So I have to respect the rules. If I knew what the rules were. In this case, I don't actually know what the rule is that I supposedly broke. So I have no idea. If they tell me, I'm happy to, not discuss whatever it is ever, if I know specifically what it is. But I don't. They don't tell you. They just say terms and guidelines, violations, and it's restrictions, and then it says appealed, and you click on appeal, and it says no appeal. You cannot appeal. So, bragging about subs. Who's bragging about subs? I'm bragging about subs? You think 363,000 is something to brag about? Zuck, that's nothing. That's nothing. I mean, you can't even make a living if you were doing 363,000 and making money just from advertising here on YouTube. You're not going to survive. You're not going to live. Okay, you can buy coffee. Maybe pay for your car. That's about it. Seriously, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you're boasting you have a 363,000." It's like, no. The subscriber count doesn't really matter. It's really about the number of views. So if you can have 1 million subscribers, and if nobody watches your video, like nobody watches my videos, then that's really what matters, because you're paid per watch. And somebody was actually saying to me, somebody was actually telling me that I have too many ads on my videos, that I should disable the ads on the videos. And it's like, I barely make any money from the ads on the videos. And this guy was like saying, remove the ads. Come on, guys. Do we really need to go there? You're on YouTube, and you're complaining about ads on YouTube when, I'm just sticking to what the norm is. So whatever the video, whatever the ads are on my videos are whatever the default is with YouTube. I'm not touching that. I don't add ads. I don't put any more ads or put more restrictive ads on here than I need to. But I leave it at the standard, because if you stop giving ads on your videos, YouTube might say you're not valuable to us, therefore we're going to cut you out. So it's really important for YouTube to make money from my channel, and you got to make them make money. It's less about me making money, to be honest with you. It's about them making money. If they make money, then they will have some incentive to keep you going here, regardless of what I say. So, yeah, I mean, come on. I don't, if you think that seeing a few ads in a video, especially one of those short ones. So yeah, you might see four ads on the short videos. They do kind of become aggressive with the videos on the live stream. So on the live streams, I tend to remove them, but it doesn't show up. I don't know what the ads are until typically many hours later. So usually I don't know about the ads until I wake up in the morning. So people are like complaining, hey, you have too many ads. It's every few minutes on your live stream. I actually don't know that till the morning, and then I can remove it. So obviously, even a little bit the money that I make, it's important for YouTube to make money, because if they don't make money, then they won't promote your channel. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if that's how the algorithm works, but it makes sense. If you stop putting ads on your videos, then in theory, then YouTube will say, well, we don't want to promote you because we're not making money from your videos. We want to promote videos that make money. Okay, we have to accept that. So that's the YouTube method. And you guys are in YouTube, so why are you coming to me and saying that I'm the one you should blame for that? So yeah, in fact, it's probably not even right that you do an ad block, because then YouTube doesn't make money, in which case then they drop me. So you should like do it normally. Whatever you normally do with any other channel, then you can do with mine. So you can do what you want, of course. I mean, if you want to block ads, then it's up to you to block ads. But just saying that you do it based on your own conscience and your own reasoning. So anyway, the point is that the video that in question is on Odysee, and you can go. Tell me if you understood why it was banned, since I don't. So at least in a true context point of view. Yes, words were mentioned, but the context where I used it doesn't justify this, because I did not give an opinion on the context. The context was not there. So only the words were mentioned. So in terms of what context I was trying to communicate, it doesn't apply, because I was just talking about the subject matter, the topic on the title of the video. So anyway, we'll do more Q&A then, and we don't need to go through that. And we'll go till 9 o'clock. We don't have to go for much too long here. Just another 30 minutes or so. So somebody asked a question yesterday, if you're not going to want to watch that video, so we'll handle the safe topics. So somebody asked this question yesterday, and it might as well answer it now in case you don't watch that video, because you only watch on YouTube. The question was, basically the question is, what is a privacy phone? And basically the original question was, can you de-Google an iPhone? I think that was the original question, and then it progressed into a definition of can you define what a privacy phone is and exactly what that means. So let's talk about that a little bit. Just it's really basic knowledge that you should be able to repeat this regularly. For example, my phone, I was showing it yesterday, and maybe they banned it because of this phone. I have no idea. So there's the Brax 2 phone, which is now on Amazon. So you can find it on Amazon, Brax 2 privacy phone. So what makes this a privacy phone? What makes this different than, let's say, a Pixel 4 XL, if this were just a standard Google one? This is not. This is also de-Googled. And what about an iPhone? So the issues that you need to think about is that there's stuff going on those two kinds of phones, Android phones and iPhones, Google Androids and iPhones, that you cannot stop. There's no way. If there was a way, I'd just tell you and say, oh, yeah, we can fix that. And some people will say, oh, you're just pushing your phone because it's, you can make money off that. Well, you can believe what you want to believe. The point is, there's no answer. Technically, there's no answer. The reason there's no answer is there's code placed in the phones by Apple and Google that no one has access to. And those are the ones that are doing the spyware. So on a standard Google phone and an iPhone, the first thing that's happening is called Wi-Fi scanning. And Wi-Fi scanning is when your phone is looking for Wi-Fi routers around you, and then it actually takes your GPS location and then takes the serial number of the Wi-Fi router and then sends that data to Google. And then they build the Wi-Fi triangulation database. So that's going on automatically. It goes on constantly, and it's nonstop. It's not related to airplane mode. It's independent of that, so you can't even stop it. There's no way to stop it as long as Wi-Fi is running. If the internet is down, they may cache it. I don't really know. My guess is they will cache the information and then send it to Google at some frequency. I don't know how often they send this data. They don't have to send it minute by minute. They can just collect the data. They could send it once a day. Because some people are saying, well, we ran some tests on the phone and we can't see that transfer. It doesn't matter that you can't see it. The fact of the matter is they said that they do it. There's proof that they saw it. Shankar, the Ravi Shankar, the hacker, actually penetrated the database at Google that has the Wi-Fi triangulation database that has the same information that's published in the geolocation API of Google. So obviously this exists, okay? And some people, especially some cybersecurity people who are not as experienced as Ravi Shankar from DEF CON, he broke in there and actually saw it, and he actually used it. And so because he can use it, he can actually find anybody if he knows your MAC address. So that goes on, and regardless of all the arguments that you can turn that off, you cannot turn that off. And that is actually tied to, in the Apple case, to Find My Phone. So on the Apple case, Find My Phone is also running at the same time as Wi-Fi scanning. It's probably integrated into the same process. I don't know. The point is that on an iPhone, the phone is emitting the serial number off the phone on the airwaves on a regular basis, probably every few seconds, to Apple, and you cannot turn it off, and it has nothing to do with whoever owns the phone. If the phone is at the Apple store, it's sending this Find My Phone signal, which is the serial number and the current location. It's doing this like constantly, even if the phone is sitting in the store unsold. Okay, when you get an iPhone, you have to put in your Apple ID, and then you connect to the serial number. So now they have a record of what the serial number is doing. They said, oh, this phone has been sitting at the iPhone iStore and iPhone iStore, the Apple Store, and now you're able to match your your Apple ID to the phone, so now you can see where the phone is. So when you use Find My Phone, you're just seeing where is the serial number located. It's matching to you now. Now you can see it. The point is that the phones are tracked, and it's pretty insidious because you can't stop it. And that, to me, that alone is enough reason to say, zuck you, I'm not going to go get an iPhone. I mean, that alone is so bad. It's very bad like that. And then Apple decided, oh, we're going to do more. So they published in iOS 13 point or 15 point whatever last summer. So about a year ago, exactly around June, I believe, if I recall the version number. When they released that in June, was it 15.3? I can't remember now. what they did was then say, okay, we're going to turn your phone into an AirTag when the phone is off. So when the phone is off, it's an AirTag. So it's like, oh, come on. So you're tracked with the phone on, you're tracked with the phone off, as long as there's some battery power, and the battery requirements for Bluetooth BLE, which is what's used to turn to an AirTag, is very small. It could survive for a year, just pinging you quietly. A year. With the size of the battery in the phone, if it has some serious charge, it could be tracking you for years, plural, without you ever turning it off. I mean, that's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So, and yet people say, well, we still want these phones. Then the other thing that's into the phone is the telemetry. So not only do they track your location, there's a telemetry that every app is actually, passing through the telemetry of Google and Apple, and they know how much you're using an app, which app you're using, and so on. And the other part that's really dangerous to me is that the OS for Android, Google Android, and for iPhones, they can see the identifier of the phone. Of course, Apple does it anyway and sends it and find my phone, but Google also sees the IMEI, the IMSI, and all those secret identifiers on the phone that can actually accurately identify that the phone is you. And they use it for 2FA, two-factor authentication, and they use it for cross-device tracking. So it's really, really bad. I don't know a way around this. I mean, every move you make, it's being done with these, and it goes on and on and on, which I'll explain in my next video. The point is that there's actually no other option. In order to be safe, the only solution is to use a phone that doesn't have that, and the only solution is what I refer to as a privacy phone. So I have one here. Brax 2 is a privacy phone. There's other OSs that I would consider privacy phones. If you install Lineage OS on a Pixel, that's also a privacy phone. If you install Graphene, if you install Calyx, if you install eFoundation, those to me are all privacy phones. What is unique about a privacy phone? Well, it's based on Android open source project, and what is interesting about that is that Wi-Fi scanning isn't on it. There is no ability for an app to see the IMEI, the IMSI, and all that. And they can't see that because the actual restriction is in Android itself. So Android restricts any app that is not at the operating system level, meaning root level, to access the IMEI and all that. Since there is no Google on here, there's no app at that level to capture that and send it to a higher party. So the phone does not have an identity. The phone does not do the scanning to track location, and you can be identified by location as well. So those two elements alone are pretty good. And then you have the telemetry, which is part of Google Play, and there's no Google Play on here. So there's no way to do telemetry. And the same with these guys. If you're using the Google Pixel, there's no Google Play on there. So therefore, none of that tracking exists. So none of the tracking exists related to the iPhone. It can't turn into an AirTag. It doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have contact tracing. A lot of the stuff that is very dangerous does not exist. So basically, the moment you use a privacy phone, a lot of the markers that identify everything you do disappear. It's really kind of basic. And some people even say, "Oh, I don't know what to do with my phone. What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do?" And I don't even give you any rules. Do whatever you want. If you have a privacy phone, you can do whatever you want. Why? Because there's no identity. So even if you run anything on it, there's no way to actually identify that this is this exact phone. There's no serial number or anything that will reveal this phone specifically. It may reveal a brand, it may reveal a group of phones, but it's going to need other identifiers to match you. So they're not going to be able to find the phone. They're going to match you by IP address, which you can beat with a VPN. So because of that, they're really, if you want to beat the IP address portion, use a VPN. So with those two elements, you're pretty much safe. and that's why it's kind of a fantastic option. And I think the average person needs to realize that and not be so tied to the activities on their phone and things that they do on the phone a lot that maybe will not run on this. Maybe you ought to rethink if you want to run it on this phone. So, do you sell ready-to-use privacy phones? Asked Brenda Fondon. Yes, this is a Brax2 privacy phone, which is on Amazon. And on my store, on BraxMe, I have other phones like Pixels that are also privacy phones. These are more expensive. So the least expensive model is the one on Amazon. This one is $399, which includes the shipping. So the point is, you don't even have to buy from me. You can learn how to do it yourself. But you're not going to get this, because this inexpensive model not only does privacy, it has its Brax OS. It has its own OS, and a very, very good OS, very easy to use, so user friendly, and it's included. So it, based on the price, it's the cheapest option you can get. So $399 including the shipping. What about the phone number? The phone number is not visible directly to apps and platforms like Google and so on. The way they see the phone number is if you give the phone number to them via two-factor authentication. Should I get the new Brax phone? Yes, you should get the new Brax phone if you want. I mean, this is not a sales pitch. I'm just telling you how it works. Okay, the point is not to sell you. I'm just explaining it to you what it is. And again, there are other options. You don't have to use a Brax phone. You can use, if you want a nicer phone, you can use a Pixel 5 and run Lineage OS or some other system on it, and we can install it for you. What do we do? So what do we do as soon as we get the phone? Use the same SIM card? Yes, you can do that Apple dumpling. That's typically what I would do. I just insert my old SIM card into the new phone, and end of story for step one. Yeah, that's typically, then you're running, and you can worry about the other details later on. Step two is the fantastic ability of some of these phones that they have dual SIM. This is a dual SIM phone. Step two is to get a second SIM card with a different phone number. So get a cheap SIM card, second one, with a different phone number that no one knows, and that phone number is what you use for two-factor authentication. Or it doesn't have to be on this phone. If you have one of these, which is only single SIM, keep your old Android and use that for two-factor authentication. Separate the two. That's it. Separate the two. Don't use the same phone number for regular use versus two-factor authentication use for the big platforms. I'm talking about Google, Facebook, any of those. You shouldn't be in Facebook, but if you are, then don't use the same number, because you will be in contact lists. So it's really simple. It's not really all that complicated. People say I don't explain the solution, and the solution is actually not that complicated. It is work. You got to think about it. You got to take a second SIM if you want, or a second phone for 2FA, and you got to think about it. And you say, okay, this platform is asking for the phone number. Which phone number do I give for two-factor authentication? You have to give another number, not your standard number. Your standard number can be known to your friends, and you don't have to make it known to social media and to Google, Apple, and so on. And the reason that works is because your friends have your number in a contact list, and they upload it to social media platforms with your name, your address sometimes, your birth date even, and that identifies you and puts you into a grouping, and then they can find out who you are just from the phone number. Well, they can't find out who you are if the phone number is not known to your friends. So get a new phone number, and hopefully there's somebody else who used that number before. That's even better. That'll cause even more confusion. Okay, so I hope that's simple enough. VPN, you need a VPN. VPNs are really not secure. What are you trying to do with a VPN? All this, it's the basic task is to hide the IP address. That's it. It's not. Don't what are you trying to do with a VPN? Are you trying to the VPN obviously is already encrypted, but it's encrypted between you and the server. It's not encrypted from the server to the site. But who cares? That's not the point. The point is for it to just have a different IP address, and that's all you need. Just have a different IP address, and if you do that, then there's no way to identify you, and that's really the main point of privacy: is stop them from putting an ID on you, on your devices. If they stop putting an ID on you, if they can't ID you, then all the stuff that they collect about you is meaningless. I don't care what data they collect about you. I do not care. They can collect a lot of data about you, but if they can't find out that it's really you, because they can't get the identifier of the phone that says that's really you, it may not be you. What if your name is John Smith? Which John Smith? The AI isn't smart enough to figure out that there are, of the 10,000 John Smith, that you're that one right now. They don't have that capability. It screws up the data. So by not knowing who you are, it stops the AI. That's all that we're trying to do here. It's not all that complicated. Okay, so it's. And people get mad and they get this phone and they complain and they say, well, I can't run this app and that app. And, obviously it's not the same as a regular phone. There are limitations on it because there's no Google on it. A certain app may not work. 90% of apps will work. So it's not all that dysfunctional. And whatever doesn't work can work using the browser. For example, one of the things that do not work is Uber and Lyft and so on, Postmates, but it does work on the browser. So use the browser, it works. Is it as convenient? I guess not, because you got to go click on the browser and go to the website, and you can make favorites and things. You can make your job easier, even with the browser. But if you are in need of that, then you can make it work. But it's not as convenient as if you run the app. It may not be as pretty as if you run the app. There may be more limited space on the browser. But it's a sacrifice we have to make. The enemy, the opposition here is out to get you, and your response is, well, we don't want to care. We don't want to care. So I'm peachy. It's ready in the UK. You have your phone in the UK ready? I'm sure Wicker will work on the phone. I'm sure Wicker will work. Signal works too. So pretty much all the security apps work, even WhatsApp, which I do not recommend to use, but WhatsApp works. Telegram works. Sometimes I run Telegram here, and it works. I don't really use the other ones, but the good ones like Session, Signal, Conversations, all of those apps work pretty well. So does the TikTok app work? I'm sure it will. Do I recommend I use it? No, but yes, I'm sure it will work. The apps that don't work are the ones that require payment. So if you have to pay for the app, then it's not going to work. If it needs in-app purchases to function, it's not going to work. And the reason is there's no store. You don't have a Google ID, so it can't accept payment. Okay? So you use Telegram a lot. Okay? Well, that's fine. I'm not fond of Telegram because it has my phone number, so I don't like using Telegram. But that's up to you. Just like I don't like using Signal with people I don't know because it has my phone number. So, yeah. So this is a very, very simple explanation. XX Messenger. Well, I don't know what XX Messenger is. One of my upcoming apps that I liked was one from Session. So if you haven't tried that, check that out. That's pretty secure. That's very secure app. And I like the thought process with the metadata. They're the ones that actually, compared to a Signal and Telegram and all that, the Session actually made sure to protect your metadata, and that to me is the answer. So Session is very good. When I played with it a year ago, the UI wasn't the best, so a little hard. It was a little hard to use, but somebody said it's better now. And I had good thoughts about it before, so I'm saying to you that if you want to use Session, that's one of the better ones. So, and of course, I have my app BraxMe. Now, what's so special about BraxMe? Well, BraxMe is a no identity site, meaning you join BraxMe, there's no identity. So you don't have to fear anything like even IP address tracking, because my platform does not track IP address. In fact, I strip it out of the logs. So the logs on BraxMe doesn't have IP addresses. It's actually part of the setup that we remove the logs on BraxMe. And the database does not track your IP address. So that makes it impossible for me to detect if somebody came to me and said, do you have any accounts that come from X? I wouldn't know, because I don't ask for an email. I don't ask for a name. People can call themselves anything on the platform, and it's pretty unrestricted. And the only time that I know who it is when you buy something. And obviously I have to ship it to you, so I need to know who you are. But then you could set up a second account and I wouldn't know who that is. Meaning, if you buy something with account X and then you say, well, I want to have a little bit more anonymity, then you start using account Y, and I'm not going to know that Y is connected to X. So identity, that's, to me, identity is, the secret. The secret is, it shortcuts all the issues. A lot of the problems with privacy are really related to that. If you can block the identity, a lot of things fail. Because all the AI, you got to understand how the AI works. The AI works by categorizing data. If they can't categorize the data, it doesn't work. That's it. Simple matter. Keep them from categorizing the data into identifiers, and the data just hangs there, and they can know, oh, this guy went to this church and goes to this school and hangs out in this neighborhood and drives this car and makes this much money and has this girlfriend and on and on and on, and has this politics, but they don't know who it is. If they don't know who it is, then they can't store the data. That's really as simple as it is. If you don't know who it is, you cannot store the data. And then all the stuff that you have to fear, oh, I'm afraid of what they're collecting about me. It doesn't matter if they don't know who you are. Okay, that's it. It's not really it's not even cybersecurity, really. It doesn't even matter about the cybersecurity side if they don't have the identity. This is really why the cybersecurity problem is different than the privacy problem. The privacy problem is, unfortunately, hinges on one thing: identity. The last video talked about Volta Wireless. I don't know about the company. I discussed the service. It's in the last video on SIM cards, and you can watch that. I talk about it. It's a data-only SIM card, and then you have to use voice over IP to do calling. And in general, I like that option. So that option in general is a good option. However, the problem is, I tried an actual SIM card from Volta. Somebody gave me one to test, and it did not work in my area. It went to 3G, and it couldn't get any data. So because of that, I can't really say anything to recommend it, because I don't know if it actually works. Okay? I do not know if it works. So in general, the concept is the same. So let's just say, forget Volta for a moment, because we don't know if it works or not. If it works, somebody will tell us. I tested it here and it did not work. So we'll hold off judgment. I'm not going to go judge it right now. They haven't responded to me. I said, you know, I even offered to be a what do you call this? A referral partner. Thought, you know, this might be a good mix. They didn't respond to me, which is fine. But I'm not going to go recommend something if we don't know if it works or not. If it works, and we can talk about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now, let's say you don't have such a thing and you want to make sure that you can really work with it. All you have to do is get a data-only plan. All of the carriers offer that. Some of them are more expensive than others. For example, the one from T-Mobile is, I think, $50 a month for unlimited data. And it is unlimited data, so that's good. So you can use it. It doesn't have phone service, so you have to use some sort of app to give you a phone number and a way to receive text and so on. So what somebody like a Volta Wireless does is gives you a voice over IP app, and then they run their own server for voice over IP. In the absence of that, there are other companies you can use. As an example, you can use Viber. So if you have a data-only plan on your phone and you're using so data only for apps, and then for your phone use you use Viber, then you can get phone calls, get texts with a Viber phone number. My irritation with Viber is all the spam. I mean, it's kind of a spammy kind of app. They're like trying to, you know, there's so many ads and it's kind of irritating to use. So, you know, I guess that's the way they make their money. So, yeah. So if you do that, then that's an option. I may offer a similar service later on that will be data only plan and then have a voice over IP. I'm working with somebody right now to do that. And so some months from now, I might offer the same service. In the meantime, you have the ability to use, you know, voice over IP apps of any sort, including Viber. Now I'm suggesting Viber instead of Skype or Google Voice, which you can also use, but then you'll be tracked because they're U.S. companies. They're subject to the CALEA law, so they offer immediate wiretapping capability to the government. So whereas with Viber, it's in Luxembourg, so there's a separation there that might be useful. I don't know. You could use Skype and you could use Google Voice. Probably not Google Voice because that's Google. They'll put Google on your phone. Google Voice does not work on a de-Google phone, so no Google. But Skype will probably work on a de-Google phone, on a Brax2 privacy phone. I believe I tried that. Skype works on this, yeah. So it will work, but just don't know about the safety of, because Microsoft does share your data. So WebRTC, how safe is that? WebRTC, you need a VPN to protect yourself against WebRTC leaks. So WebRTC, for web use, I'm down to just 7 minutes here. I'm going to stop this at 9. Go use Jitsi. The Jitsi app is very easy to use. Jitsi, JITSI dot, no, JIT.SI. And sometimes they say meet.jit.c. And that is a app to use instead of Zoom. It's very easy to use. You don't need to log in. You don't need to identify yourself. You can just make a room and call it something and then pass a link. That's it. It's so simple. There's nothing to set up, no accounts. There's no account set up. And it's completely free. And you can run your own Jitsi server, which I've done. And is there a Google version of Skype? No, Skype is Skype. Okay? So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not particularly fond of Element. I mean, you can use it if you want. It's not my fave. Not going to stop you, though. Don't like the metadata on Element, so I'd rather use the XMPP solutions. I'm biased towards XMPP because of the reasons of identity. There's more chances of having your identity leak on Matrix using Element than any other platform. So encryption doesn't matter to me. Encryption is secondary to identity. Identity first, encryption next. So in the case of XMPP, the XMPP protocol, you get identity resolved and encryption, and then you have Jitsi for video, and it's like, what else do you need? You got everything there. It's just the latency that gets me on Android devices. Well, a Brax 2 privacy phone is running Android, so I don't know what latency you have to worry about. This is Android, so it works just like all other Android. So anyway, guys, and thank you, humanator. So thank you for watching. And like I said, I don't know what will happen to this video if the powers to be or the AI decides that I said some word again. I hope I didn't say any word. So if it did, it cancels this out. I'll post it on. Let's just announce this as a policy. If a video is for whatever reason banned or stopped by YouTube, then I'll post it automatically on Odysee. So don't forget to subscribe to me on Odysee. Don't forget to do that. So if you haven't done that, please do it, or I might disappear and you don't know where to find me. Please subscribe on Odysee. Okay? So we got a few more minutes here. What gateway do you use for your network at home? I use a VPN, Jack. So my gateway is my VPN server. So everything is directed to I have a VPN router. I sell the software for a VPN router. So you have a Raspberry Pi, and then I plug in multiple Wi-Fi routers to that. It trunks it to the Raspberry Pi. It's a gigabit router, and then that trunks to my VPN servers, and then so all my traffic will emanate from the VPN server someplace, wherever my VPN servers are, all over the country or the world. So thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn, for subscribing on Odysee. Okay, so where are you on Truth Social? I am not on Truth Social. I am not on. I was on Gab, but I didn't find any traction on Gab, so my Gab is inactive. I am. My Twitter account is inactive on Twitter. I haven't logged into that account since the 2016, since the election. So when is that? Since 2020, right? So I haven't logged into my account on Twitter. So yeah. So it's very, very limited places where I go, and I don't need to really rely on anybody else. We have BraxMe. The number of people on BraxMe is, if I recall, we have 70,000 people on BraxMe, 75,000. I can't remember right now, but it's somewhere around there, between 70 75,000 people on BraxMe from all these subscriptions. So, I mean, that's almost as many people on Odysee. So that's pretty good. So go to BraxMe, because I'm always there. That's my platform. So if you ever want to find me, I will never be lost. You can go in there and find out where I am, because BraxMe is my platform. So nobody can shut me down, because I can move that anywhere. If somebody shuts me down, I can move it to a different country. So yeah, so BraxMe, https brax.me, and that's where my store is as well, if you do not want to buy the products from Amazon. I'm making it convenient by putting it on Amazon. Some of you don't like to buy from Amazon, and don't. You can buy from me. If you want to buy from Amazon internationally, you can. You can have a Brax 2 phone shipped to you internationally, but just order from Amazon.com if you're elsewhere. Do not order from your local Amazon, like Amazon.co.uk, Amazon.ca, or Amazon.co.de, or whatever. Don't order from those. You can find the Brax 2 phone only at the moment, only on Amazon.com. I will likely figure out, I have to figure it out. I'm likely going to open up local purchasing of Brax 2 phones in one of those Amazons in Europe. So that may happen, but I have to figure it out. So can't do it right now. I got to go figure it out. You try to avoid Amazon. Yes, you can buy from me directly. So yeah, I'm just making it more convenient because Amazon is my shipper basically, and it's for your convenience. So for those who do not want that and you want to buy directly from me, I have stock here. So I do have stock. All of the phones are in stock, so I can sell it here directly. Okay, best email provider. I mean, there are many email providers, but I also have Brax Mail. So if you want to consider us, and I have Bytes VPN. So I have VPN, Brax Mail, VPN routers, VPN providers, and then phones. So we have a bunch of services that we offer as a privacy company. Thank you guys. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for watching. And hopefully this video doesn't get stopped when I end the stream. Boy, this will be shocking to me when I press end here and we lose it. So if it ends, I'm going to post it on Odysee. So good night, guys. See you later. Thank you for watching me for 2 days now.